race here. We got two boats who should shape up to be a pretty good race here. We've got in lane 3 there is Thomas Jefferson University, and in lane 4 is Rollins. So just two boats here in the women's Division II Varsity 8 final.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like we have both boats off the blocks pretty cleanly here. We saw that beautiful drone shot. Again, just a little bit of breeze up at the start. It's a little bit more exposed there, but doesn't seem to be bothering anybody. So again, remember that we have the first two lanes empty and open. So it is lanes 3 and 4 that we are in, and we're looking at Rollins right now as the current leader. And what do you think, Joe, too? We're watching some of these races. We're seeing 6 lanes across, every once in a while 7, but right now we have a duel. And the mentality, I think, is very different in a duel. And I think it takes a very experienced coxswain to actually run a smart duel, because it's very easy to get sucked into another team's race plan and become a little bit more responsive rather than proactive with your own race plan. So I'm very curious to see how these coxswains execute if they start playing off of each other a little bit, even steering towards each other. That's very common, as well as taking moves and being a little bit proactive rather than trying to just break away on their own. Yeah,
duels are really interesting in the world of eights, because it seems for some reason as if some bigger comebacks tend to happen when it's just two boats. When you have all those boats across, the race tends to play out, you know, how it was around the 1,000-meter mark. But for some reason in these duels, you can tend to see some incredible comebacks. But at the moment, it looks like these two boats are pretty close to each other, as we get a nice look at the bow 4 of this Rollins boat from our launch camera here, following along with our race.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point there too. And I think when you have six boats across, perhaps 7, again, mostly 6 in the races that we'll see today, there's almost so much chaos going on around you, you can shut it out in a way. So as a coxswain, you can kind of look around, and again, of course, paying attention to where everybody is. But there's so much going on that it's almost easy to start internalizing and bringing your crew back into the shell and saying, yes, we know there's a lot going on here, but it's time to focus on us, and we are going to command this race. When it's a duel like this, it's very easy to just keep looking over at that other boat and focusing a little bit on that other boat. So it really takes a good coxswain to keep their crew focused on their own race plan, their own steering, and even if they get a little bit behind sometimes, like we are seeing in this Thomas Jefferson boat, that doesn't mean that the race is over. And so it takes a good coxswain, again, to kind of keep their mentality in the boat here and on fire, again, going up against this excellent Rollins crew that we are seeing here. So it's not over until it's over. So I would expect some great things here from Thomas Jefferson in the second half.
Yeah, so a really impressive second 500 from this Rollins boat so far, starting to pull away from the Thomas Jefferson boat. You can see there the 4-seat, or rather the 5-seat there of the Rollins boat sitting just about even with the bow seat of Thomas Jefferson, maybe now 6-seat. So Rollins continuing to kind of take a seat by seat here as our drone follows along. 1,000 meters left to go now for our lead boat from Rollins here. And again, interesting to look at the time trial. There were no semifinals, obviously just the two boats in this race. Thomas Jefferson actually had a much faster time than Rollins, so Rollins maybe sandbagging a little bit in that time trial yesterday. But as you can see here, plenty of speed in that boat. And, you know, just what a great experience, even though there's only 2 entries in this Division II event, just to get the feel of going head-to-head, one-on-one with a boat you've probably never raced against before.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's why the time trial in the semifinal format is pretty exciting, because you never know what a crew is doing just to make it into a grand final. So we get these kinds of surprises no matter what the times say in a time trial. So we do love to see it. And right now we are seeing an excellent performance here from the Rollins crew. And again, as we start to move into the last quarter of the race, we should see some great things. It looks like they're starting to bring the rate up again just a little bit, trying to break away from that bow ball of the Thomas Jefferson crew. And we've seen some great things from Rollins. So I'm actually not too surprised that we're seeing a great performance here. Again, look at that course steering straight down the lane. Really nice job here from this coxswain.
Yeah, and the rowers are really, although a little bit of an issue there on the feather on that starboard side, or rather the square on that starboard side, but for the most part, a lot of really nice send in that boat. They're picking it up at the catch really nice. They're not checking it too much, and they're picking this boat along right now. It's a really nice flowing row from that 8, and that's kind of something folks talk about a lot, is when you're in that 8, getting into that flow state where you can just feel the boat move under you, and then when you get to that catch point, just picking it up and keeping it moving along. It's a really wonderful experience, and this Rollins boat is executing really well right now.
Yeah, their front end really is working for them here. That's right. We can see the pedals here in this beautiful drone shot that we have, this gorgeous cinematic view from the sky, which is so helpful to us as commentators, that's for sure. And this Rollins crew just doing a really beautiful job, just picking it up and changing direction. Like you said, it's very light, it's very quick, it's very efficient. So they're letting the shell do the work for them on the front end. And that's very difficult to do. That takes a lot of patience and a lot of discipline to allow a crew to have patience coming up to that front end, as you said, placing the blade, changing direction, and keeping that boat moving between strokes, as we say.
Yeah, and just about 300 meters left to go now for our lead boat. You can see that red buoy line there where they switch from yellow to red. That signifies 250 meters left to go, and that is exactly where Rollins is at now. And Thomas Jefferson just about 3 seconds behind them, about a boat length back. But still a very impressive race for the boat from Thomas Jefferson here, staying in it despite, going behind around that 1,000 meter mark, staying fairly connected to this Rollins boat.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on the women's side of things, there's been so many changes lately in the divisions, in the conferences, a lot of conference shifts lately. So there are a lot of crews that are rowing in divisions and conferences that they weren't rowing in last year even. So there's been a lot of shifting around for many of these teams. And so even though we are seeing only a duel here in the D2 Varsity 8 category, they could have raced in something else in years past or might be in something different next year. So there's really been a lot of change. So these two boats are doing a really good job here again, just racing each other, staying focused. And as we see Rollins crossing the line in first, Thomas Jefferson very, very close behind. This was a really great row, a really great duel between two great crews.
Yeah, so an impressive win there for Rollins, taking home gold.